My arch nemesis is near. We have this one escaped cricket who I just cannot find for the life of me. But when I find him, I'm probably just going to end up liberating him. Hey, what's up creatures? It's Em, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up a bearded dragon enclosure. Specifically today, I'm going to be using the Med Premium Reptihabitat, which is a 40 gallon, and it really is a premium bearded dragon enclosure.
I'm a gird. Goals.
It's one of the most popular choices to keep bearded dragons in, so you might have already seen it in your local store or online. If you've already seen Med's 40 gallon Reptihabitat for bearded dragons, you'll know that it's actually a kit, and it comes with a whole load of accessories and essentials that you're going to need for your bearded dragon. So I'm going to show you how to set up a bearded dragon using this kit, which was sent to me by Med. If you're planning to bring a bearded dragon home, this video may be of interest to you, or equally it may also be of interest to you if you're looking for ideas to maybe upgrade your bearded dragon that you currently have. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button down below, become part of the creature crew, and also hit that notification bell over there so you don't miss a single upload. Today is going to be an unboxing and a step-by-step setup of how to actually create a bearded dragon environment. However, if you're looking for bearded dragon facts,
then I still have you covered,
because I have an entire creature feature dedicated to bearded dragon facts. So if you're interested in bearded dragon facts, or you want to learn something different you might not have already known about your bearded dragon, visit my description box down below and you'll find my bearded dragon creature feature. Before we get started, I just want to say this is not the definitive guide to bearded dragons. This is how I like to set up my bearded dragon. As much as I'm sure you're going to love this video, remember to check out other videos too, because you should absolutely look at how a lot of other people keep their bearded dragons and you might get some great ideas. But stay at this video first because this one's going to be the best. If you keep bearded dragons too and you've got some great tips to share with people, leave them in the comment section below and you can really help other people and share your knowledge. Bearded dragons are one of the most common reptiles in the reptile hobby, and they are a wonderful, wonderful reptile to start with. I know it can be a bit daunting to think about heaters and lighting and substrates and all sorts of different things that you have to juggle when it comes to caring for your bearded dragon. So Med has you covered, and they've actually got a 40 gallon bearded dragon kit, which is a premium vivarium setup. So that's the kit that I'm going to be using today, which was sent to me by Med. So thank you very much to Med for sending me this. I am sure that my rescued bearded dragon, bad idea over here, is going to love her upgrade. Let's go check out our vivarium kit. Whoosh. So first things first, the space, and down here we've got a really great space which is just a void right now, a void which we're going to fill with our enclosure. Dun, dun, dun. Let's admire the sexiness. Now a 40 gallon is the minimum space requirement for an adult bearded dragon, so this is how big we're talking, and it's big.
This is my lifting for the day.
Here we go, let's liberate this beast with my seriously inadequate scissors. Already you can see we have two sliding panels and they are both covered in mesh. It's a mesh top vivarium, which is great because you definitely want to get some airflow. If you only have glass the whole way around, you're going to be hosting a lot of negative bacteria. So having a mesh top, Med has you covered, and this will ensure a good healthy supply of airflow. So let's remove this mesh. Oh, hang on a second. So do you see this lip just over here on the inside of the vivarium? This lip here is actually a snake guard, because if you're planning on keeping snakes in this enclosure, which you very well could do, it'd be wonderful for a ball python or a royal python. If there wasn't a snake guard there, there's every likelihood that snakes, being such great escape artists, would be able to just nose their way in just enough to push it open. But if they tried that in this enclosure, they wouldn't get very far because of the lip underneath. So that's a really great feature. Well done to Med for that. Here we go, I'm going to slide both of the panels off, and let's look at all these goodies on the inside. This is so exciting. I have a thing about bright packaging. If there's bright packaging and animals on it, I'm probably gonna get it. So first of all, we have Zoo Med's Guide to Bearded Dragons by John Clavier. So let's have a look on the inside. Oh, this is great. It's got loads of really useful, it's got very useful hints and tips in there and helps you with understanding the kind of maintenance you should be doing. We also have a thermometer humidity gauge, allows precise monitoring of both the temperature and humidity of your terrarium in one unit. So that's a great way to gauge what the environment is like inside your bearded dragon's enclosure. Very importantly, we have the Repti Basking Spot Lamp, and the reason why spot lamps are so wonderful is because they concentrate the heat in one area. Because remember, your bearded dragon is not always going to want to be in the sun. Let's say that the entire enclosure was very hot. There would be nowhere for your bearded dragon to escape to. So in actually having a spot lamp will actually concentrate the heat on one side, enabling your bearded dragon to bask or to go away and stay cool in another section, and that's very important. So this Repti Basking Spot Lamp should last in theory about 2,000 hours, which is great, and it provides heat, daylight, basking and UVA, which is wonderful. Now this light is very important. This is the light that's really going to help your reptiles to absorb the nutrients in their food. This is the #1 fluorescent UVB reptile lamp worldwide for desert creatures, and the bearded dragon is indeed a desert creature. If you're a bit lost on the lights, let me explain. Your bearded dragon or future bearded dragon is a reptile, and reptiles are ectothermic. They rely on external heat sources to survive and stay healthy. If your reptile eats but it's cold, it can't and won't digest its food properly. That's why a spot lamp is so important. It gives your dragon the chance to thermoregulate and to digest its food. Now, the second bulb is a UVB bulb. This bulb doesn't give off much heat, that's the spot lamp's job, but the reason that the UVB bulb is so important is because the UVB is what your dragon uses to produce D3. D3 is what allows them to actually absorb the nutrients and calcium from their food. Without UVB, you can throw all of the veggies, all of the live foods, and all of the calcium you want at your dragon, but even if they eat their food, it's going to be like eating cardboard. There's no goodness there for them. Without UVB, your dragon won't absorb the calcium and they won't grow properly. In some cases, they will become disfigured and develop metabolic bone disease, or MBD for short. In extreme cases, they will die. So you definitely need heat for your beardie as well as the UVB. We also have the Repti Rock Repti Food and Water dishes in the size L, so it's large. So here are the food and water dishes. They are up to you whether you want to use them for water and food or for food and water. So personally, I would use the deeper one for the water, just so that you make sure that you always have a fresh supply in there. That should be changed daily, by the way. And then over here, this one would be great for your greens. You know, bearded dragons love to have mustard greens, dandelion greens. Now, Repti sand.
Hold it right there. Calcium sand.
So oftentimes when you see calcium sand, you get people going, that is the worst thing you could ever keep your bearded dragon on. It's going to cause an impaction. And it's true, almost any bedding can cause an impaction in your bearded dragon or almost any other reptile. So it's really down to you to be vigilant, to make sure that if your bearded dragon is on a substrate which is easily ingestible and which you think that they're ingesting too much of, for example, juvenile bearded dragons will do this quite a lot as they're still learning how to eat and to catch their food. They get mouthfuls of dirt or different kinds of substrate. It's up to you to find the right substrate for your bearded dragon. I would say that the vast majority of adult bearded dragons will know better than not to go and get a mouthful of dirt. But if you do have live foods which are tunneling down into the dirt or into the substrate, the sand, the bark, whatever it is that you're using, that can become an issue. So if you're very worried about using sand and impactions, then just don't use sand. Just because it's in the kit, it doesn't mean you have to use it. But if you use it with great success, then great, it works for your bearded dragon. And everyone should take into account that every bearded dragon is different. So you really want to monitor your bearded dragon. I've been to the Australian outback now twice. I've been very lucky to actually see bearded dragons in the wild. And everywhere that I've seen them, there has been sand around, but it's not simply sand. There's lots of different kinds of terrain. So I'm actually going to be in this setup video showing you lots of different things I put in there, lots of textures, and the base texture I'm going to be using is not going to be calcium sand, but the calcium sand will come into play. If you wanted alternative substrates, you could use cypress mulch, you can use jungle bark, or you can even use Repti carpet, which I personally do not like, but it's up to you. Some people even use linoleum as the floor because it's easy to clean. I personally don't like the look of linoleum. I don't think that it really helps with bearded dragons' nails, which do need to be taken care of. So I personally wouldn't recommend that. But there are a few different things you can definitely go and check out after this video and decide what works for you and your enclosure. This is what the deep dome combo lamp fixture looks like. This over here is the handle. This is where you want to ever pick it up from, because obviously this can get very, very hot. You're going to be dealing with two different kinds of lights, and one of them is specifically designed to give off heat. So you want to make sure that you always lift it up from this little handle over here. Oh, look at that. We have... Do you know, I can't for the life of me think what these two things are for. Obviously, they're there for a reason, so I will leave those in here for the time being. I'm sure that will become apparent soon. We also have the Bearded Dragon Food Sampler Pack. Let's take a look inside the sampler pack. First of all, we have, oh, very important, Repticalcium. We also have the Zoomed Juvenile Bearded Dragon Food. Correct ratios of protein, calcium, and fiber needed for growing dragons. Oh, it's a can of worms. Okay, now this is a tropical fruit mix, which is papaya. So this isn't really relevant to bearded dragons, but it would be great for some forest dwellers. Let's have a look at the back over here. Fresh canned papayas in sauce to be used as a mix-in. Great for tropical lizards, box turtles, forest type species of tortoises, hermit crabs, iguanas, crested geckos, and day geckos. Well, I do have crested geckos, so this will not go to waste. I'm sure that Ziggy will absolutely love this. You're just a much loved pet. I'm about ready to do a time lapse of me actually setting up the bearded dragon's enclosure. Now, you're going to notice me using certain things, for example, ledges and logs and all sorts of different things. If I haven't already shown them because they're not part of the starter kit with the Zoomed bearded dragon enclosure, then I will list them down below and also on screen so that you can actually follow along and get some ideas to note down for yourself if you wanted to use them. A lot of these things I'm using are things I already have around the house, given that we have lots of animals here at home, and I have a huge drawer full of decor and hammocks and all sorts of other things, but I will do a full setup tour after this time lapse, so I hope you enjoy. The finished bearded dragon setup. I used all of the calcium sand that was inside this bearded dragon kit. The only thing is that first of all, you might have noticed that I put down something else. What I put down was actually a sand mat. So it's a mat that you can roll out. It already came in a 40-gallon size, so it was a perfect fit, and it has the sand and stones actually stuck onto it, and you can see some of that mat just down here. So you can see it's very, very hard. The reason I chose that is because bearded dragons are very kinetic. They like to move around and they like to, you know, see something outside and run to this side and then head bob over here and run to this side. And sometimes if they only have sand, it can push everything to the sides and then they're left with just glass and nothing really to grip onto. And that's why I chose this as the very, very base, because it also is so hard that it takes care of their nails. So I've exposed some of that. This ledge you can find from a variety of different retailers. I believe that this one was probably Mag Naturals, and it actually has very strong magnets to the back, so you can move this ledge wherever you want, and that's super sturdy right there. Just underneath, just to make it extra sturdy, I've got some of these logs which have been used in other enclosures before. So usually these logs are used in a vertical or arboreal setup, but because they're not being used at the moment, I thought that I would lay them in here, and it has a sort of nice curve where Bad Idea the bearded dragon can come and sprawl. At the back underneath here we have a cave. Not an official bought cave, it's just a little shady place that I've made. And if she really wants some privacy, let me take you around the side over here. This wonderful piece of wood actually has a hollow. I also have this hammock up here as well. Hammocks are notorious for being really poor quality and falling off. So I don't even know if I'm going to keep this hammock here or not, or I might try and get a better hammock. This is just a nondescript hammock, which I don't believe came from any particular make. It was just the cheapest one on Amazon Prime, so that's where I got that from. I will link it down below regardless, but they do tend to fall down.
I totally forgot to put my thermometer in.
Remember when I found these and had no idea what they are? I figured it out. So the vivarium has little holes here, which conveniently are just the right size for these loops, which makes it super, super secure, so it cannot be opened that way. That's extremely cool. Here's Bad Idea, the bearded dragon. She is an adult female, but she is a bit stunted, so this is going to be a really nice big enclosure for her. She's still very stressed at the moment because she's been in a temporary holding pen, and obviously that was in the dark. She didn't know what she was, you know, what was happening while I set up her new enclosure. So she's a little bit stressed and she's showing some stressed colors at the moment, but hopefully those will go away once she discovers her new pad. You go explore.